All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound division where some really big news took place yesterday, and it may result in a fight between Terence "Bud" Crawford and Jaron Ennis, if not Errol Spence Jr. next. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about the 147-pound division where there's been a big announcement by the WBA related to a fight between Ennis and Virgil Ortiz, which has a big impact on Terence Crawford in the next fight that Terence Crawford will be ordered to make, and that should be sometime after the month of May of 2023. Now, before I get into the details of it, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. Also want to say thank you so much to all the subscribers and supporters that support the videos every day. Guys like my man Rick Timms, who did excellent conversation, big Bud fan. In the live streams that we do on Saturday mornings. But thank you to everybody that supports in the super chats, the cash apps, and in the super thanks, which you can do in the video. This video, which you'll see you can do with that little heart and dollar sign right there at the bottom right hand corner of the screen. So let me tell you what happened and why this means we may absolutely get some good fights taking place, because people won't have a choice. Now, just this week, the WBA has ordered a fight to take place between Ennis and Virgil Ortiz, the 147-pound guy that is, I do believe he's can't remember exactly what ranking he has in the WBA, but it's probably number one, right underneath Ennis, who is the WBA regular champion. Since they have ordered that fight to be made, if that fight takes place, that would mean that, and Virgil Ortiz wins that fight, that means that Virgil Ortiz would leave the rankings for the WBO. As of right now, Virgil Ortiz is the number one ranked guy in the WBO at welterweight and is the most likely person to be the mandatory to fight Terence Crawford next. Now, with him fighting Ennis, and I favor Virgil Ortiz to win that fight against Ennis, since he more than likely is going to win that fight, that means that that the IBF rankings would change, or the WBO rankings would change, because Virgil Ortiz would come out of those rankings. And what would then take place? Jaron Ennis would go from where he currently is, which I do believe is number 2 in the WBO, to number 1 in the WBO. Absolutely. Would be the next mandatory there. And why would that be? Look at the people that are there, right? You have Virgil Ortiz, who's number 1, who would leave the rankings. Number 2 is Jaron Ennis. Number 3 is Keith Thurman, who is now the mandatory for Errol Spence Jr. for the WBC, and will be fighting Errol Spence Jr., probably fight Errol Spence Jr. next for the WBC belt. After that, you have Conor Benn at number 4. Conor Benn is not allowed to fight right now because Conor Benn was asked to show cause by the WBO for why he would not get removed from their for their rankings. So they're not going to be putting Conor Benn in the ring with Terence Crawford next, right? So if Virgil Ortiz moves out, that means Jaron Ennis is definitely, or as close to definitely as you can get, going to be the next mandatory for Terence Crawford for the WBO. Now, also, when does this mandatory take place? This mandatory would have to be ordered after April of this year, because Terence Crawford last fought, I do believe, in November of 2021, and now he's had a year that's gone back. He's going to fight on December 10th for his voluntary, and because he's the WBO super champion, the WBO super champion, he has his mandatories come up every 18 months. So right then, Jaron Ennis is going to be sitting right there. Now, people would say, well, no, that he is Errol Spence Jr.'s mandatory already. Here's the problem with that. The WBC mandatory comes up next. After that, it's the WBA's mandatory, which would be the winner of Stanionis and Virgil Ortiz. So when either one of those situations go, Virgil Ortiz is more than likely going to be the mandatory for Errol Spence Jr. in the WBA. Now, also, what if Amanda Stanionis wins and beats Virgil Ortiz? Well, if Amanda Stanionis beats Virgil Ortiz is going to drop in the rankings of the WBO. He may actually, with that loss, drop out of the top 5 if he loses. So if he wins, he's not going to be in the WBO rankings. If he loses, he's not going to be in the WBO rankings. And Jaron Ennis is not going to be fighting Errol Spence Jr. His mandatory with for Errol Spence Jr. probably will not come up until 2024 because you have the WBC, which we don't know when that's going to be, but let's just say it's in February. Then you have the WBA that comes up, and that say is going to be in the second half of the year in 2023, right? So that would mean that if he stays, the Jaron Ennis fight would take place in early 2024 if they fight in the regular patterns. So Jaron Ennis is going to more likely get that mandatory with Terence Crawford before that. Now, what would happen? Now, obviously, there is, the option to say, well, what can Terence Crawford do where Terence Crawford would not get that mandatory put on him? One of two things. He can either do a unification fight with Errol Spence, or he can drop the belt. But if he does not take that Errol Spence Jr. fight, he's got to fight that Terence. He's more than likely going to have to fight that Jaron. He's going to more than likely have to fight that Jaron Ennis fight. And I'm going to tell you, from my point of view, I'll take it. Absolutely, positively will take it. So the people that are out there saying, well, Errol needs to fight Jaron next. Errol is ducking Jaron. Bro, that's not going to be the situation for very long. Especially, no, actually, it's just not. The only way that would probably not take place is if for some reason the Virgil Ortiz and Stanionis fight doesn't go through. And seeing as Virgil Ortiz and his team are the one that petitioned for it, I don't see those guys falling out. Now, the question would be, is there going to be a purse bid? Who would win the purse bid for that fight? Would the fight now, if for some reason, say the PBC or somebody won or say TGB, Tom Brown Promotions, who does a lot of the promotions for the cards that take place on the PBC. If he won the purse bid over Virgil Ortiz, maybe there could be an instance where Virgil Ortiz, would drop it. However, I don't even know if that's the case because because Showtime and DAZN just did agree to a fight between two of their fighters, being Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia. So if they did that, I would be very surprised if they could not find some scenario where they could work that out. But more than likely, it would be that he would fight Stanionis over there on DAZN, for Golden Boy. More than likely, would be what they would do. And then again, Virgil Ortiz would then be the WBA champion, or he's going to drop in the WBO rankings. So look forward to what's going to happen this year, because if Terence is not going to fight Errol Spence, then it looks like his mandatory more than likely is going to pop up, and that's going to be more than likely Jaron Ennis. But that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.